It is an unstoppable day, you guys. Give it up for yourself. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, hey, hey. It is an unstoppable day. If it's Tuesday, then you know it is the Unstoppable Story Show with your host. That would be me, Terrance, the Unstoppable Coach Leftridge. So come on in, swipe and share, swipe and share. Come on in for another exciting episode of the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. Now, I know you could have been any place in the world today, but you decided to take a little bit of your Tuesday night and join us here at the Unstoppable Story Show. And we don't take that lightly. We thank you so much, and we hope that you will find this show entertaining. And we hope you will find it full of information. And we hope, more importantly, you'll find it full of motivation that's going to help you make it through the next day, next week, next month, and even the next year with some information and some education that's going to move you to the next level of your greatness. So come on in, swipe and share, swipe and share. And hey, you know what? If you are watching us live, go ahead and type the number 1 in the feed. If you are watching us via replay, just go ahead and type in the number 2. And then we will definitely make it a point of saying hi to you as we go through this broadcast. Well, guess what, guys? You know, what you just saw was the intro to our very first live taping of the Unstoppable Story Show. After 2 years of doing this virtually and doing this in the studio, in the Unstoppable Stories lab, I elevated in 2019. You know, that's my mantra for 2019. Hashtag elevate. We elevated and we took it to another level. Yes, we took the Unstoppable Story Show out on the road, and we were able to do a live event in collaboration with this wonderful friend of mine by the name of Tara Poetry in Motion Cooks. And we did our first annual Authors Read Literary Showcase, and you can see on the screen that here's the authors that took place in that event over this past weekend here in the Chicagoland area. 10 authors from across the Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana. So we had 2 states on the stage sharing their product, sharing their passion, and walking in their purpose alongside the Unstoppable Story Show. And I tell you, it was a phenomenal event. And if you missed it, then you know you just have to make sure you have your face in the place when we do the next one, because I guarantee you we are going to be coming to a town near you. because I know there was 10 authors here that needed exposure. I know there were 10 authors here that needed to be elevated. I know there was 10 authors here that were ready to share their stories to not only change lives, but to even, in some cases, save lives. And I know for a fact that if there are 10 people here in my own backyard, then there's somebody in your own backyard that needs that same thing. There's someone in your own backyard that is looking for exposure for their product or their service. There's someone in your audience, in your back of the woods, in your neck of the woods, in your town that wants to share their story. And that's what we do here at the Unstoppable Story Show. We help people share their stories and get their message out to the masses. So I am so glad that we were able to do it, and I'm so glad that it was a success. Shout out to my co-host, the phenomenal Terra Poetry in Motion. She's there on your screen with the gray sash around her neck. And shout out to the proprietor of ABJ Community Services, Victoria Brady. She's right there in the middle. She opened up her doors and allowed us to use her stage, her building, and her platform to bring this phenomenal event to the Chicagoland area. So thank you so much for opening your doors up to us and allowing us to really bless the lives of some people. Just showing you some real pictures from the event before we get started with tonight's broadcast. And I want to tell you that it was more, it was more than just an event. Yes, I dare say that it was an experience. And that leads us into what we're going to be talking about tonight. Talking about creating an experience for your customers, for your clients, for your circle of influence. Because that's, I dare say, what leads to having an unstoppable business in 2019. I could have just went in and created a show on this past Saturday where we just had some authors come up on stage and say their name and what their book is and go off stage. And we could have did that cookie cutter 1 through 10. And then that may have been great for them because they had never been on stage before. But I've been blessed to be around people and to be tutored under mentors and great speakers like my speaker coach, Dr. Ruben West, and his mentor, the phenomenal Les Brown, and the guests that we're going to have on the show momentarily. I've been around some heavy hitters, and they've shown me that the value does not come in just doing something. The value comes in creating something that's going to make a lasting impression on your circle of influence, your clients, or your customers, or the prospects that you are looking to reach in order to take your business to the next level. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that tonight as we conclude the month of love in February, talking about loving on your clients. And I have no better person to help us have this conversation this evening than our guest that we're going to be bringing into the show tonight. He is phenomenal. He is fabulous. He is leaps and bounds ahead of his time with what he is doing in the transformation arena. He's a transformation specialist who believes in if you transform your thinking, you'll move your business from good to great. He began his hotel operations many, many years ago as a management trainee, worked his way up from night manager to sales manager, and then to director of sales of a major hotel chain. And within 4 years' time, he was able to take their sales operation from 24 million. Yeah, I said it, 24 million to $98 million in sales. And he didn't want to stop there. He decided that since he was able to do this for that chain, why not create his own curriculum and show many people, from large corporations to small startups, how they can create a great experience for their customers and their clients across the globe. He is none other than the CEO of Strategic Solutions, LLC. He's a national speaker. He's a trainer. He's an author. He's a business consultant. But more importantly, he is a wonderful, wonderful, down-to-earth man that will share his knowledge with you so that you can be not only influential, you can be a transformational specialist in your own right yourself. So let's welcome to the show my man, my friend, Mr. Velton Showell. Velton, mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Mic check, mic check. How are you, Terrance? How are you, my good friend? Good to see you.
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the Unstoppable Story Show this evening. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I wouldn't miss it. I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you and your audience and to appear on your show. You're doing a fantastic job. I'm very proud of what you've done with the show over the last 2 years, and excited that you continue to grow and change lives, because that's really what it's all about, growing and changing lives. Not just changing your own life, but changing the lives of everybody that you encounter. Giving them that experience.
Well, I appreciate that coming from such a heavy hitter like yourself. You're no stranger to the Unstoppable Story Show, but for those people who are meeting you for the first time, why don't you just take a second to introduce yourself to my audience, Velton?
Sure. My name is Velton Showell, and I live in South Florida. I'm the president and CEO of Strategic Solutions, LLC, which doesn't mean much to you, but as Terrance said, I grew up as an adult in the hospitality industry. But prior to that, I'm originally from Camden, New Jersey, and matriculated through the school systems in New Jersey, and graduated from Rutgers University. Audience, and to appear on your show.
Go ahead.
Do a fantastic. Introduce yourself to my audience. Started my career in the hospitality industry. Spent almost 30 years doing that, and was fortunate, very, very fortunate. You know, one of the things that makes you great is the opportunity to surround yourself with great people. I firmly believe if you want to be an expert in an area of focus or in concentration, you have to surround yourself with experts, because we can't do everything by ourselves. We can't learn everything on our own. We need other people who give us the ability to grow and continue to move ahead as we mature and matriculate. I am a product of a lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of mentoring by many, many individuals. Now, Terrance talked about some of the people that have mentored him. My good friend, Dr. Ruben West, Les Brown, who I've known for almost 35 years, and a whole host of other people who've had the ability to learn certain things, but had the compassion and the understanding that sharing what you have is more important than just the learning, because you can learn on your own, but once you share, you are expanding your learning curve and your horizons to encompass other individuals. And really, even though a lot of people may not think about it, you have given your contribution to changing the world. So I'm a firm believer in that, and I'm excited about being here tonight and sharing with your audience, Terrance.
Well, I'm excited to have you here, especially coming off of your phenomenal event that you were a part of this past weekend in the DMV, the Black and Influential event hosted by Black CEO. Looks like you had a phenomenal time down there. How was that?
Oh my goodness. It was absolutely phenomenal, off the chain. You know, we just talked about just some of the people. I was so overwhelmed. I mean, we had keynote speakers extraordinary. I mean, we had Andy Enriquez did a keynote speech. Allison Bird was there. Darnell Jervey Harmon was there. Dr. Willie Jolly was there. Dr. Reuben West was there. Dr. George C. Frazier gave a keynote. We had just, I mean, the names were just going on and on and on. And the thing about it is, you've got all of these high caliber people who are going around the world, changing lives, changing communities, and they were all there in multiple capacities.
Wow.
Number one, they were there to share, and they shared what they had and what they brought to the table. But number two, they came there with a student and a learning mentality, because they not only wanted to share what they knew, but they were there to learn and collaborate with the other people that were there. So it wasn't an environment where we had people that were on a pedestal and some people who were there just kowtowing and being secondary, feeling like secondary citizens. It was a family environment. It was a nurturing environment. It was a learning environment. And it was just so exciting to watch people's eyes light up as they took away nuggets. They took away valuable information that could change their lives, change their businesses, and allow them to take the information and messages forward to change the other people in their to other people's lives in their communities. So it was just an amazing, amazing event.
Yeah, it really sounds like it. You know, I've never been to the Black and Influential event, but I've been to a lot of Black CEO events, and especially other events that have been put on by the phenomenal Shay Brown and Trevor Otts of Black CEO. So I know with some of the names that you said, from high caliber thought leaders to millionaires in the room, and entrepreneurs in all different areas and circles of influence. I know it definitely was an event that if not for having my own event, you know, I would have had my face in the place.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell everybody else, next year, we're actually starting to put the process together for next year's event. It's always going to be held in February. Now, that's my only reservation about going to Washington, D.C. in February.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I live in South Florida. Okay, when I left home to get on the plane, it was 80 degrees. When I landed at Dulles International Airport, it was 26.
Oh,
and I looked at my watch, I looked in the mirror, and I said, "What are you doing here?"
You
don't come up here until May.
Earth made you decide to do that, huh?
You don't come up here until May. What's wrong with you, man? Are you kidding me?
Oh my. Well, you know, that just shows how passionate you are about what you do and how engaged you are with going to events that create transformation in the lives of others. But let's jump into our topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. And before I do that, you know how we do. It's the question I ask every guest on the Unstoppable Story Show. And that simply is, Velton, what does it mean to you when you hear the word unstoppable?
When I hear the word unstoppable, what I think of is a movement, and a movement in a positive direction. Because when you move in a positive direction, when you are focused on a goal or something that you really want or desire, the passion within you comes out. And when you're truly passionate about something, when you're truly focused on something, when you truly put your mind to something, you become unstoppable. You can fall down, you can skin your knee. You can have a setback. You know, Willie Jolly says a setback is a setup for a comeback. You can have a situation that doesn't always work out in your favor. But no matter what happens to you, no matter what things fall in your path, you can jump over them. You can go around them. You can go under them because you are committed. And when you are unstoppable, you have a total commitment to your success and the success of everybody around you. So I love the fact that the title of your show is about being unstoppable, because there's no other way to live your life if you truly want to be successful. There's no other way to live your life but to be committed to not letting anything deter you or take you away from your success.
I love it. Great, great words from our friend that's on the show with us tonight, Velton Showell, CEO of Strategic Solutions LLC, joining us on the Unstoppable Story Show. As you are joining in, come on, swipe and share, send it out. We're going to be talking about creating a unbelievable customer experience so that you can have an unstoppable business. So we would love to get your comments. We see that Billy Miller and Solandia Hammond and Julia Hunter and Shirley T. Williams are watching us online right now. So definitely thank you guys for watching. We look forward to seeing your comments come across the screen. So Velton, I was talking at the beginning of the show, at the intro, about the experience that occurred this past weekend with the first live streaming of the Unstoppable Stories show, and how I didn't just want to create an event, I wanted to create an experience. And I really want to start our conversation off by really talking about what you feel is the difference between the customer having a what do I want to say? Just having a so-so encounter with the clients, or having an experience from the people that are trying to bring them in as a customer or client.
Well, there's two things. Number one, a lot of companies spend a lot of money on the customer service area. And most times customer service areas are developed to solve a problem once it's already happened or a situation that already exists. Because customer service is the Band-Aid or the fix-it to a negative situation in, I'd say, 85% of the circumstances. If you are happy with a situation, dealing with an organization, dealing with a company, dealing with a store, you very rarely encounter a customer service individual. That's number one. Number two, customer service is designed to placate or remedy a bad feeling or something of that nature. My philosophy and the way I look at the ultimate is customer service is transactional. It happens every now and then that the customer service person gets involved, but an experience is something that will bring you beyond a transactional environment or a situation where you're just dealing with a person on a temporary situation. To me, customer experience beats customer service every time.
Wow. Wait. When you throw something out like that, we got to come back and we got to bring that back around so our audience can get that information again. So what did you say about the customer experience?
I said customer experience beats customer service every time.
Wow. So expound upon that. What do you mean by that? The experience beats the service every time.
Well, think about it this way. When you have an experience, think about the last time that you had a very, very memorable experience. It could have been an experience when you were on vacation. You went to a resort, an island destination. You went to the beach, or you had a great day with someone that you admired or really enjoyed being around.
Okay.
Think about the fact that you were staying at a resort. Now, here's an analogy, and I'm not picking on any particular hotel or any particular chain, but I'm just using them as an example. Motel 6. Motel 6 does a great job in the platform or in the area that they exist in. They're a limited service hotel or motel. It's in and out, quick, fast, boom, boom, boom. They have customer service people at the property that take care of people who come there. Now let's flip the script. Now let's go to Ritz-Carlton. Ritz-Carlton is probably one of the premier hotel, if not the premier hotel and resort company in the world. Think about what you get when you go to Ritz-Carlton versus what you get when you go to a Motel 6. The Motel 6 provides service, but the Ritz-Carlton provides an experience. When you walk in the door, their philosophy is this: their staff are not employees. They don't call their staff employees. They call their staff this: ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. Think about that.
Ooh,
Ladies
wow.
and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. And that kind of mindset, that kind of attitude permeates through the entire building. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to create an experience for you that makes you come back to them again and again and again. People who stay at Ritz-Carlton, even people who have to save their pennies, who've had the Ritz-Carlton experience, will make it a point to save their pennies because they want to enjoy that type of experience again. So there's a big distinct difference between service and experience. I'll give you another example. Think about Universal Studios. Think about Walt Disney World, or think about Disneyland. People, families save their pennies for years and years and years to enjoy those destinations. Not because they want to go there to be serviced. They want to go there to have an experience that's memorable for a lifetime. Most of us, when we were children, went to Disneyland, Disney World, Universal Studios, so forth and so on. And when we became adults, we took our children.
Yeah.
And our children will take their children. And our children's children will take their children. Not because of the customer service aspect, but because of the customer experience.
Yes.
And the lifelong memories that are built based on that experience. They don't even call their employees at Disney World employees.
No.
They call them cast members.
Absolutely. I noticed that we come down to your fair state a lot and go to Disney World and hang out in Universal Studio, and it's almost like from the time you walk through the gates to the time you leave, you become part of a major production, and you unknowingly become one of the members of the cast that because they bring you in not only for the rides, they bring you in for the tradition, they bring you in for the generational experience that you talk about. You can see families from grandparents to parents to children all in awe of the same thing, but looking at it from 3 different generational set of eyes. So I really that is a great analogy when you talk about Disney World, Disneyland, and businesses of that nature. But go ahead? I'm sorry.
Terrance, as CEOs, as business owners, as professionals, if we want to separate ourselves from our competitors, if we want to separate ourselves on our jobs, if we have a job, if we want to be different than everybody else, then we have to look for everybody who encounters us to walk away with a positive experience. Not just that we are serving them or we're doing our job. Job, they say, is just over work. And most people do just enough work not to get fired. Right. And most people are paid just enough so they'll show up every week. But when you're talking about creating an experience, you're not just looking at the day-to-day aspects of what you're doing. You're looking at separating and setting yourself apart from everybody that you encounter. And if you can drive that difference between you and everybody else, when it comes time for the promotion, they can't overlook you. When it comes time for the decision of who I should do business with, I'm not going to overlook you. If somebody takes the ultimate care of you when you're making a decision, come on, somebody, can you really overlook them when it's time for you to do something different?
Right.
If you can, fine. But I bet money on it that they are in the forefront of your mind over the other people that may do the same or something similar to them business-wise, because they have created an allegiance based on the experience that you get when you encounter them every time that you meet with or deal with them.
I love it. I love it. This great words of wisdom that we're getting from Velton Showell here on the Unstoppable Stories Show. We've got a comment in the feed, Velton. Billy Miller from North Carolina, he's saying, make people feel like $1 million, not like you want $1 million from them.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
Well, and Billy, absolutely. Billy, you are on the money. Here's the thing. If you make a person feel like $1 million and they have that experience, if they can spend $1 million, they can spend $2 million.
Absolutely.
Because guess what? This is not a transactional relationship. This is an experience that brings them back again and again and again and again. And over time, that $1 million grows exponentially. You talked about us taking that office from $24 to $98 million. We're going to talk a little bit about how that happened and the secrets of doing that.
Well, let's jump right on into it. Let's talk about, so we talked about, as far as the examples, we've talked about experiences from major companies, and, somebody's listening and watching this in the replay as well as watching it live. Well, you know what? Disney World, they have billions of dollars. I'm just an up and coming author trying to get my book in the hands of people so that they can see what I'm passionate about. How does that one person create that same type of experience, Velton?
Treat each person that you deal with like they're the most important person in the world. Everybody wants to be treated like they matter. Everybody wants to have that connection that they feel is the connection that is slated just for them, nobody else. That's a feeling that can be established and accomplished with anybody. It doesn't have to be a situation where only certain individuals get that kind of treatment. When you're in business or when you're on the other side, you want that kind of treatment. I'm writing a book called Leadership Dynamics, 52 Principles that Every Successful Leader Understands. And one of the excerpts from the book is, treat people the way you want to be treated. Everybody wants to be treated like they matter. We get busy sometimes and we get stressed out sometimes, especially if we're in the public sector, because we have to deal with people all the time. But what we have to remember is that when the person on the other side of the counter is stressed out, when the person on the other side of the counter gives us attitude, or we're not getting the kind of vibe from them that we're looking for, it's not a good feeling.
No.
So when we get stressed out like that, we have to take a second and think, how do I feel when this is happening to me? Before I go out here and give this person a piece of my mind, how do I feel when somebody does that to me? And if I take that attitude first and foremost, then I'm going to think before I engage my mouth. Engage the brain, engage the sense of feeling before we engage the auditory part of our being.
Yeah, think it through.
Oh yeah, my great-grandfather said something to me when I was a child, and I say this all the time. You'll hear me say it on the stage. And he said, "Sonny, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen as much as you speak.
I heard it. I knew it was coming. Absolutely. And just like we've been talking about generational experiences, there are those generational mantras that carry the test of time, whether you are talking about sales, whether you're talking about service, whether you're just talking about treating, like you said, treating people like they're the most important person in the world, or treating people the way they ought to be treated. And it's so great that we can bring it down to the simplest terms in order to get that message out. And if you just do the simple things that you would do in a normal situation in a customer relations situation, then you're more than likely going to have those positive results in that customer relationship as well. Would you agree?
Absolutely. But the key word there is relationship. In a relationship, it's not all about the bling bling. Okay. Yeah, everybody wants to hear the cash register go chi-ching, but the difference is if you are developing a long-term relationship with the right people, you don't have to worry about the cash register going ching-ching, because they're not going to make a buying decision without consulting you first. You want to earn, as a business earner or a business owner, you want to earn the right to be looked upon as the customer's trusted advisor. And when you make it to the point or to the position of trusted advisor, they don't make a buying decision without consulting you first.
Love it. Great information. Velton Showell, he's our guest here on the Unstoppable Story Show, where we are talking about how to create an unbelievable experience so that your business can have unstoppable success. So, Velton, as we move forward, we see that Billy Miller is saying, amen, your difference will make a difference. What's some other tips that you want to share with our entrepreneurs that's going to be watching now on how they can create that experience that's going to lead to unstoppable success in their business?
Sure. Well, let me just say this. If you have a business right now and you've been in business for a while, I'm going to talk to some of the business owners who've been in business for a while, and your business is fairly successful. There are certain customers that you work with that frequent your business on a regular basis. You know, everybody always says, I want to see some new customers. I need my salespeople, or I need somebody to go out there and find some new customers. If you had developed relationship with your best customers will become an extension of your sales force. And your best customers will then help you locate and generate additional revenue from their network. Your network, you've heard this before, your network will determine your net worth.
Net worth, absolutely.
But your customer's network will exponentially grow your net worth. Well, what do you mean by that, Velton? Dr. George Fraser said something to me this weekend, and I've heard him say it before. Take a look at your community and you can take a look at an individual, and you can make certain assumptions and observations about an individual based on their 5 closest friends. If you've got a millionaire, the 5 people that they spend the most time with are normally 5 other millionaires. Why? Because a millionaire can tell you how to be a millionaire. But a person who's making $100,000 obviously can't tell you how to be a millionaire. It's the same things with your customers. When you take a look at your customers, your highest yielding customer who consistently performs at a very high level for you, they have people in their network that have the ability and propensity to do the same thing. The question is, have you earned the right to ask them to refer you, to introduce you, or to open the door for you to gain access to these people? You know, we talked about taking this office from 24 to $98 million. When we started the process, we had 27 people that were handling 18,000 active accounts. Do the math. That's almost 500 accounts per person.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And they thought this office was operating at a level of $24 million a year for the company. We walk in and we said, you know what? I sat down with my partner and he said, I've got an idea. Let's take away the accounts and give them individual customers. Let's go down and drill down to the contact level versus the account level. And we're talking about companies like Hewlett-Packard and IBM and Microsoft and, you know, Fortune 100 companies that have thousands and thousands of employees. And we've got people that are doing business with us from all of these companies. But instead of handling the account, we went and took a look at the top producers and top performers in all of these companies. Who was yielding the most revenue for us at that particular point in time? And instead of each salesperson handling 500 accounts, we gave them 100 contacts. Anybody in sales knows the ideology in sales is more is better, not less is more. So the attitude of the salespeople when we first went through this process was not good. I'm going to tell you that right up front. We were not looked upon as geniuses. They wanted to basically take us out back and do some horrible things to us.
Right. Yeah.
Here's what happened. We said to them, your responsibility. We know these are the top performing people at these companies. Your responsibility is to develop a relationship with them that every time you have an encounter, it is an incredible experience. That they can rely on you to do things with them, not just for them, with them, that they can't get anywhere else. And it's your responsibility to firmly entrench yourself in a relationship with them that sets you apart from any other competitor that we may have in the marketplace. The first year, that office went from $24 million to $65 million.
Wow.
In 1 year.
Big jump.
The next year, we went to $72 million. I flew in the senior vice president, and he said, if you make it to 100 next year, I'm taking everybody to Paris.
So how was Paris?
We missed it by $2 million. We came in at $98 million. But I tell you the story because this was customer experience at its finest.
Oh, wow.
We flipped the script on how the customer's experience was with our company every time they had an encounter with us.
That is amazing. And again, it sounds like it's something that you wouldn't normally hear, especially from a sales point of view, where you're taught that quantity is always better than sometimes even the quality, as long as it's bringing in some revenue. But to really focus in on creating an experience for the few as opposed to the many, and allowing that relationship to grow organically into something greater than what they even thought. It leads me to one of the tips that you mentioned before our conversation, and that was, if you leading an environment focused on the customer experience begins with your mindset, and that's practically what you did with not only your sales team but with your clients. Yes.
Yes, it's a mindset. And before you can change somebody else's mind, you got to be in control of your own mind.
Absolutely.
And the issue is that people don't change easily. People sometimes will change kicking and screaming. So you have to position yourself from a leadership standpoint that you understand how people are built, how people react to change, and not always hold their feet to the fire, but help them experience the change so it softens the situation for them. You've got some employees in your businesses sometimes that have been with you 10, 15 years, depending on how long you've been in business, or they are coming to you from being entrenched in an industry that they've been in for many, many years, and we've always done it this way. So when you talk about changing their environment and changing things, it doesn't happen overnight. For some people, they have to be reassured. They have to feel comfortable. And as their leader, you have to earn their trust. If they feel as though change is okay because Terrance has always taken care of us, Terrance has always listened to us, Terrance has always been there for us. He's fair, yet he can be firm, but most of all, he's consistent. Then I don't have as much angst when it comes to change, because I know in my heart of hearts, I'm not going to be led down the wrong path or led off a cliff. And most people, that's their biggest fear. It's the fear of the unknown. So when you're dealing with change, when you're dealing with making a difference from a leadership perspective, you almost have to be somewhat of a psychologist. People learn and people accept information differently. There's 7 different learning styles. And that's how people process information. So what I try to do when I was managing and leading big organizations and big staffs, I try to analyze people from their learning style. How do they process information? Some people are auditory. Some people are kinesthetic. There are different learning styles, and they're processing information differently. So if I'm standing in front of someone and I'm giving them a lot of information and they're a kinesthetic learner, they're not processing the information the same way. Some people have to visualize things. So you need to understand how the people around you process information.
Absolutely.
And if you do, you can lead them anywhere. Because number one, in their mind, they're the most important person here because you're speaking to them in their language.
Absolutely. I love it. We're talking to Velton Showell. He is the CEO of Strategic Solutions, LLC. We're talking about creating an unbelievable customer experience that's going to lead to unstoppable success in your business. So as we're coming down to the end of it, hopefully you have been taking copious notes. They say that those people who take notes, you can retain it 3 times as much as if you're just listening to it. So hopefully you're not only listening, you're taking notes, and that you will go ahead and apply some of the lessons, some of the tips that Velton has been sharing this evening, so that you can have an unstoppable business in 2019. And as you've been talking, Velton, I think about the travel industry. Me and my wife love to travel. We love to come down and hang out down in South Florida where you are, because of the experience. We have the means to travel to a number of different places, but we always love coming to South Florida because it's an experience that touches each and one of those learning senses that you talked about. I mean, just the smell of the fruit when you get off the plane is just enticing. The feeling of the warmth of 80 degrees after I get off a plane and it's 8 degrees here in Chicago. You can't beat that with a stick. The experience is of being able to just feel like you are no longer caught up in the day-to-day of life, but now you are ready to just shed your everyday clothing in exchange for your experiential clothing that's just going to take your mind and your senses and your body to another place in time. How can authors create that same experience for their clients? How can speakers create that same experience for their audience? How can not just these main companies we've been talking about for the majority of the show, but how can the everyday business entrepreneur do some things to create that same type of experience for their clientele?
There's three. I'll give you three key points. Okay. The first point is operate with a high aptitude, attitude, and understanding of quality. You want to bring the highest quality product or service that you can to the marketplace. And if you're always operating with a high level of quality, then you can ensure yourself success. There's a difference between a Yugo and a Mercedes, and it's all about quality.
Oh,
there's a different customer for the Yugo than there is for the Mercedes or the Bentley.
Yes.
Because certain people determine quality differently.
Absolutely.
So as in the marketplace, you want to always make sure that your customers are perceiving you as the quality leader. Because the next thing, if you can make sure and ensure a high level of quality, the customer then understands that with quality there comes value. Now you are on the customer's mind as a great value. It's not about price, because remember something, a Bentley is not cheap, but there are people out there paying the money for the Bentley and the Mercedes because they find the value in the level of quality that's being brought to the marketplace. So the product has high level of quality, there's a high level of perceived value, and the last part is what we've been talking about for the last 40 minutes, 50 minutes. They've got high level of quality, they've got a high perceived value, and the customer experience that you and your staff provide cannot be touched by anybody else in the marketplace. So for all you ladies out there and some of you guys, I'm going to sum it up like this. QVC wasn't always meant just to be a TV show. Quality, value, and customer experience are the key words and key mindsets of successful business entrepreneurs in the 21st century.
I love it. I love it. Great information, great tips from our friend Velton Showell. He is the CEO of Strategic Solutions LLC on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. We've got people watching also on Facebook in the watch party. We've got Debbie George is watching, Beverly Pugh, Daryl Holmes, Kevin Nunley, Arlene Collins is saying, I'll pay for quality. I know I'm getting something good and lasting. Absolutely. And in the main feed, Lady Rochelle Dotson Matheny is saying great information. Absolutely. And you know what, Velton? I hear you've got more great information like this in your upcoming book, 52 Principles Every Successful Leader Must Embrace. Is that true?
Yes, actually, the book is entitled Leadership Dynamics.
Okay.
52 Principles that every successful leader understands. Last time we talked, I actually adjusted the title a little bit because people who understand the dynamics of leadership understand that there are principles that take us from where we are to where we want to be. And there are 52 principles because it's based on the principle of 7. It gives you one principle to focus on for 7 days, which is a week. And at the conclusion of that week, if you want to change your mindset, you've got to operate 7 days on a specific principle. And then the next week, we give you a second principle. We take you through an entire year to change your mindset, to change your attitude, and to educate you on the principles that successful leaders have utilized year over year over year to take the performance of their organization and their personal performance from average to outstanding.
Wow, it sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal book. It sounds like it's going to be a roadmap as well as a workbook to help average people become successful people. And I love how you changed the word from embrace to understand, because if first we don't understand, how will we ever embrace it? So
exactly.
that is, man, that's why you are the transformational strategist yourself. So when can we get this phenomenal masterpiece? When is it coming out, and where can we get it from?
Well, actually, I'm actually doing the pre-sale on the book right now. And the pre-sale of the book, if you send me an email to info@veltonshowell.com, that's info@veltonshowell.com, I will send you some more information on the book. The book is actually being finalized and written. There are going to be some components to it. You're also going to get a calendar, an electronic calendar similar to an Outlook, which will also give you some excerpts or some information on how to stay focused. Because I want your audience to write down, if I can for a second, there are 9 principles that every successful leader needs to make sure that they check every day. When you show up in the morning, there's 3 questions you need to ask yourself. What are 3 things that I'm going to do differently today? And record those 3 things. What are 3, at the end of the day, what are 3 things that I learned today? Because every day should be a learning experience for everybody. And the last but not least, because you are truly a leader, what are 3 things that I shared with someone today? Because if you're not sharing as a leader, you are being selfish. You are looking to grow yourself, and you're not growing the people around you. And if you're only growing yourself, sooner or later, you're going to be sitting in that room, in that office by yourself. There was a conversation between a CEO and a CFO, and the company wasn't doing well. And the CFO said to the CEO, we need to save some money. We need to cut back. And the CEO says, well, where do you recommend we cut? And the CFO goes, well, you know what? We're training all these employees. We're spending and investing all this time in these people. And if they leave, we're going to have some real difficulty because we don't have the money to do it again. So we'll be hurting. And the CEO looked at the CFO. He said, you know, you're right. But what if they stay? And we haven't spent the money to train them. So what I'm saying to you, CEOs, CFOs, leaders, don't hoard information. Invest in the people around you, and it will pay dividends again and again and again.
Yeah. The good book said, give and it shall be given unto you. So absolutely. And, you know, I love those nine things you said. I love how you broke them down into the 3 different categories. What will you do differently? What have I learned today? And what will I share today? Those are powerful things. And I dare to say that if you practice those things on a daily basis, then you will find that you're growing, and you'll find that your circle of influence will grow as well. And part of you having a successful business is being able to commit to consistently doing the things that are going to continue to grow a successful business. So I thank you, Velton. Leadership Dynamics, 52 Principles Every Successful Leader Must Understand is in pre-sale right now. And give us that email address one more time so that people can get in contact with you.
It's info@veltonshowell.com. And just put your name, leadership dynamics, I'm in.
All right.
Info at VeltonShowell.com, your name and leadership dynamics, I'm in.
I love it. We are putting that email address on the screen as we speak, info at veltonshowell.com. Definitely, you also want to go over to his website and see all the phenomenal things he's doing at Strategic Solutions over on his website. And Velton, we're going to give you one more opportunity to leave us with a great thought regarding creating a unbelievable experience.
Well, it's funny. I'm going to leave you with this. Your show is called Unstoppable, and if you want to be unstoppable, you have to be willing to leave comfortable shores. You have to be. It's like sailing a ship. You have to be willing to leave an uncomfortable harbor and sail out on the open seas to be able to find new opportunities, new learning experiences, and new places for you to once again live an unstoppable life.
Well, you are surely helping us learn how to do that, to move outside of our comfort zone. And you're giving us skills and strategies to build great relationships with our customers and to create great experiences for our customers. And you know what? You have created a great experience for me each and every time we get together. And I'm glad that we have built a relationship over the years. I call you my mentor and I call you my friend. And I thank you for transforming my life, and as you continue to transform the lives of people across the globe. If there's two things I know about you, you are definitely Black and you are definitely influential. So thank you, Velton. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you very much, Terrance. Continue to change lives. Very proud of what you're doing, and I'm glad to call you my friend.
Thank you, my friend. So I'm gonna put you back down in the green room, but don't disconnect. I want to talk to you offline. But ladies and gentlemen, please show your love and hearts for Mr. Velton Showell, CEO, Strategic Solutions LLC. Thank you, Velton. All right, you guys, that is it. I hope you got some great notes and some great info out of this. Let's see, Marjorie Peterson saying, whenever I shared something with others, I always learned something I didn't know. Absolutely. Lady Rochelle said, great information. Absolutely. Sharon Johnson Leftridge. Absolutely. Again, Sharon is one of the sponsors of the Unstoppable Story Show, and she knows a little bit about creating those great customer experiences. SNL Vacations, one of the sponsors of the Unstoppable Story Show. If you are looking for scenic locales with no hassle customer service and a vacation that's going to establish and create lifelong memories in your life, then you need to go on over to snlvacations.com. snlvacations.com. Set up your next customer experience and great vacation over with Sharon over at Unstoppable snlvacations.com. We would be glad to help you create the vacation of your dreams. All right, you guys, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for always joining us here at the Unstoppable Story Show. This show couldn't exist for this long without you. And, we do this show each and every week. We do it to bring you information, to bring you education, and to bring you motivation. And we hope that this show has been a blessing to you. And if it has been, why not consider donating to the Unstoppable Story Show so that we can continue to bring quality programming to the airwaves each and every week with phenomenal guests like the phenomenal Velton Showell that you just heard. If you feel it's been a blessing to you, then be a blessing to the show by donating to us at paypal.me/unstoppable coaching. That's paypal.me/unstoppable coaching. And hey, maybe you were inspired to share your story on the Unstoppable Story show. So if that is you and you want to be a guest, then why not just email us? Send us an email at info@unstoppablecoaching.com. info@unstoppablecoaching.com. And who knows, you may be the next guest on the Unstoppable Story show with Terrance Leftridge, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. Now, I want you to go on out there and create experiences, unbelievable experiences for everybody that you encounter with each and every day. You were created for a specific reason, and you were created to provide a specific experience, not just for you, but for somebody else that the Creator created you to come in contact with. And oh, what a shame it would be if the person you were created to create an experience for left this earth without experiencing you. And wherever you guys are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day, make it an unstoppable day. And we will see you next week. Take care, family.